Hey everyone, it's Jeremy with BST Sport Cards. So today I'm gonna just be chatting about something a little different than your normal sports cards. Uh, I'm gonna be talking Disney TCG, and that's the Disney Lorcana stuff coming out. So on my screen here, you can see that we have the Lorcana trading game that's coming out in August. And what this is, it's a very similar to Magic the Gathering, but it's pretty much a new trading card game that Disney is using to just sort of help with the collectability, I think, of its characters, and also provide a game that Disney lovers can play, right? So, and I'm not a huge Disney fan myself. My grandparents were actually. They have a bunch of Disney memorabilia and stuff like that. But this first chapter, so the first thing that's coming out is going to be, I believe, in August, is the mass retail release of uh, these boosters and these starter decks and other products, things like that. Typically what you would see out of any other TCG, whether it's Magic or Pokemon or something like that, right? So um, they're actually, planning to do that. I believe September 1st, I believe, or something like that, is when it's going to officially release. But and then August 18th, I think they're going to be selling some of those boosters and starter decks and stuff before its main release in September 1st. I think is the plan right now. They did announce that if you do attend Gen Con, which is a huge, you know, board games and other TCG items that's held in Indianapolis. I've actually been to Gen Con a couple times. Um, you'll be able to purchase these things earlier than any other retail release. So there'll be an early release at Gen Con, and then you can purchase normally retail around that September 1st timeline. So they were talking about, right, the first chapter is going to contain sort of 200 cards, um, and that's going to include cards that were sort of teased and announced in D23, that D23 event, which is Disney's, big event, which they actually gave out um, some, sample stuff, which is going for insane money, on which I'll show you here in a little bit on eBay and stuff like that. So there's going to be like 3 pre-constructed 60 card starter decks, an introduction to the game and things like that. Your typical TCG game, very similar to, the mana colors and Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. So you're going to have Amber, Emerald, Ruby, Steel, Sapphire at launch, promotional different images of typical Disney characters, right? Moana, Mickey. I have 2-year-old twins, so I know a lot about Moana and things like that. But so they're going to have all these different sort of parallels, right, for these that are going to be obviously more rare. But I mean, the biggest thing is this is going to be hitting a bunch of different, I think, and the reason why I want to talk about it from a hobby perspective is I think a lot of people, and in my mind, are going to think this is silly, and I don't want to get in this. And I'm purely, I don't have any ambition to get the cards and play the game or anything like that, unless my daughters get into it in a later stage of their life or something like that. But I do see this as something like what we saw with Pokemon and first edition stuff and things like that. This is sort of this initial first edition piece of this. So I think it would be a good collectible item because one, you have these markets, right? You're going to have the TCG market, you're going to have the Disney market, and you're just going to have like this hobby market as well. Um, Anything that's going to be worth an investment, there's going to be certain people that maybe don't even look into Disney as an investment to now look into Disney as an investment. That's how I'm sort of looking at it too. Um, so, you know, and I think this is going to hold. And again, this is purely I'm not an influencer in any, any means, obviously. Very little small base right now. But I think this is going to be a good investment opportunity if these things that you can hold, right? Uh, it's it's going to sort of put this out. It's already guaranteed that you know they already have said that they're going to really push this going forward, and they're going to have releases and different launches. It's going to be, they're promised 4 sets per year in English, French, German at launch. So you got 3 languages there at launch. Um, it's going to be something neat to see. You can see it's produced by Ravensburger. They are they've done a bunch of other stuff. They've worked with Disney before because I think they did some of the Star Wars, TCG game stuff and the action cards and things like that within that. So they're very familiar. They've done a bunch of different TCG games and stuff like that. But the reason why I really wanted to sort of show this is why I think, this is going to be a good thing for, just in my opinion, to grab and sort of hold on to as like a first edition sort of thing, and not really, maybe open some to see if you can get one of those more rare items. But if I pull up, and I'm just going to pull up, this is the stuff that was given out at D23, the Disney Expo. Okay, so they got a pin, and I think they got a card and stuff, like a packet that had 6 cards plus this Mickey card. But you can see, right, the pin itself is going for like $32, whatever. The first, it's called Brave Little Tailor, the exclusive promo for D23. It's going for at least $850, and you can see, here's $885 on bids. This guy has 0% though. I don't trust that. But you can see here's an 8.5 BGS with the pin that went for $800, and then here's the actual set of 6 cards, and this is the first edition, right, of this from the D23 Expo. $4,300. $4,350. Again, it's 0% though. I'm a little confused by this, so I actually want to see if this is sold by bids. So I wonder if this guy just didn't have eBay. Oh, it's Argentina. It's kind of weird. But, there's confirmed sales. Like you can see here, $8,000 for the set of 6. Things like that. Here's $1,000 on the Mickey. I'll check you can see the best offers in here. You got $1,000, $950. These are PSA 9s, $875, PSA 9, almost $1,000 raw, going for 65, $650. PSA 10, you're going, that's D. Most of these are 9s. You can see the set of 6 cards here. Again, there's a lot of like international sales and stuff like that. $1,100 for the 6 cards there. It did get real hot at one point, $421 and things like that. So here's a 4-pack that went for $2,600. When they first came out, it started going crazy. PWDCC had it in their auctions, things like that. You can sort of see everything that's gone through there. But it's one of those things where I just wanted to start talking about it now. I don't know how many people look into things like this and think of it as an investment opportunity. But it's not going to be. Disney's going to keep it at a respectable price. minus you're probably going to have, you know, flippers and scalpers and stuff like that that are going to buy it. Hopefully, they don't, ruin it for who Disney's making this for, which is those early teens and stuff like that, right? As a TCG. So, my purpose of this is just going to be to try to get it to hold on to it, and then maybe my girls are gonna get into it later on, and you can play the game itself and however that is, and determine if depending on how you like other TCG games that are like this, whether it's something for you. But I just wanted to bring this up. I'll probably once more information comes out. You can see there's gonna the booster packs here. You have you can see there's Lion King and all sorts of Frozen and Moana and all sorts of things, Cinderella. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out and how collectors, not just collectors that are looking for an investment purpose, but also Disney collectors, TCG collectors, things like that. And it will be interesting to see how well this does at Gen Con as well, and when that first release comes out. So I think it's just something to keep an eye on. It's something sort of outside the hobby. It was nice to look at stuff and sort of read about it. That's sort of outside the main hobby world, just to get a breather from that world and sort of dive into this Disney world. So, but yeah, so just wanted to talk about that. There'll be once more details come out, we'll talk about it more. But take a look at it, see if it interests you. I think, like I said, for first edition stuff, it's going to be right. First chapter is what they're calling it. I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of value this holds and what kind of investment, is based off this. So, all right, guys. Well, until next time, this was sort of a short little blurb, but peace.